Police save a polar bear family in 40°C cold. The wind howled outside the small police station in Churchill, Manitoba. Snow slapped the frosted windows like claws, and the temperature on the wall monitor blinked red, minus 40 degrees Celsius. Officer Jenna Clark barely sipped her coffee before the emergency radio blared. "This is Rig 14. Emergency. Repeat. Emergency. There's a bear cub caught in a trap. The mother's going crazy. We can't get near. Someone's gotta..." The transmission cut into static. Jenna stood. "Where's Rig 14 located?" Her partner, Officer Malik Reyes, tapped the keyboard. 4 kilometers out, right on the coast." "Wildlife Services?" she asked. Malik picked up the phone. "Already trying them. Estimated ETA is 2 hours. No air support. Weather's too violent." 2 hours? Jenna's jaw clenched. That cub won't make it. And if the mother gets aggressive near the crew, it's going to be a bloodbath. Behind them, Sergeant Kowalski stepped out of his office. "You two aren't seriously thinking of going out there, are you?" Jenna turned to him. "We're the closest. That cub's in pain. The mother's panicking, and the rig crew is stuck in the middle of a standoff. If no one goes, we might be looking at multiple casualties, including the bear." "Clark, this isn't our job. We're police, not wildlife rescue." She stared at him down. "You trained me to act when lives are at risk. That includes lives on 4 legs." Malik spoke up. "We're trained for extreme weather, Sergeant, and we've got the modified patrol truck. If anyone can make it, we can." Sergeant Kowalski sighed. "You'll be out of radio range in 5 minutes. You're on your own. You understand that?" Jenna nodded. "We're not letting that family die in the cold." Within 10 minutes, they were loading thermal gear, emergency flares, bear deterrent kits, and a collapsible sled into the back of the snow-armored patrol truck. The engine roared, headlights barely cutting through the blizzard. As they rolled into the white void, Malik muttered, "-40 and dropping. Great day to get eaten by a polar bear." Jenna smirked. "Let's make sure nobody does." The radio crackled and went silent. The station disappeared behind them, and ahead, somewhere in the frozen unknown, a terrified polar bear family was waiting. The truck rattled as it crawled over snow-packed terrain, tires groaning under the weight. Blinding snow whipped across the windshield, forcing Jenna to drive mostly by instinct and the faint GPS signal flickering on the dash. Malik scanned the landscape, nerves tight, visibility down to 10 meters. "We missed that cliff edge by a few feet. We're done." "Keep your eyes peeled," Jenna muttered, hands locked at 10 and 2. "That trap won't be sitting in open snow. If we see any blood trail..." Suddenly, she slammed the brakes. A black shape in the snow, barely visible under a ridge of ice, crumpled, half covered. They jumped out, boots crunching through hard snow, fighting the wind that stabbed at exposed skin like glass. It was a person, a man in a frost-covered parka, face bluish, unmoving. Malik dropped to his knees. He's breathing, but shallow, frostbite on his fingers. This guy's been out here a while. A camera was strapped to his chest. Lens cracked, battery frozen. Jenna looked at the ID tag clipped to his jacket. Elijah Noor, wildlife photographer, she swore under her breath. He must have come out here alone to photograph the bears. They carried him into the truck, blasting the heaters and wrapping him in blankets from the emergency pack. Malik glanced at Jenna. "We gotta turn back. He needs medical. Hypothermia is already setting in." Jenna hesitated. Her eyes darted to the GPS. Barely a kilometer left to the trap location. "You take him back. I'll go the rest of the way on foot with the sled. The trap's closed. I can't leave that cub out there bleeding in this." "Jenna, alone? You don't even know if the mother's still there. If she is, then I'll do what we train for," she cut in. "No sudden moves. No threat. I just need to free the cub and get out alive." Malik locked eyes with her, jaw tight. He knew arguing wouldn't stop her. He nodded, pulled the truck around. "If you're not back in 90 minutes, I'm coming after you, armed." She clipped her radio, grabbed the sled kit, and disappeared into the storm. Each step was a battle. Wind screamed like a living thing, and ice crusted over her goggles as she trudged forward. Time blurred. Snow fell harder. But then, up ahead, a sharp metal glint. The trap, and a sound, a high-pitched cry. Jenna dropped to her knees and crawled the last few meters. In the center of a shallow snow crater, a small polar bear cub was struggling, its leg twisted in a steel jaw trap, blood staining the snow. And 15 meters away, almost invisible in the blizzard, the mother, head low, shoulders tense, watching. Jenna didn't breathe. Jenna didn't move. The mother polar bear was massive, easily 800 pounds. Her breath came in heavy bursts, visible in the freezing air. Ice clung to her fur, her eyes locked on Jenna, unmoving, protective, on edge. One wrong move, and Jenna wouldn't stand a chance. The cub cried again. Its leg was deep in the rusted steel jaws of the trap, the blood starting to freeze on its white fur. Jenna slowly unhooked the sled from her waist and knelt down in the snow. No sudden movements, no threat. She unzipped her pack. The mother bear stepped forward. Just one step. Jenna froze. Her breath fogged her goggles. Her fingers, wrapped in insulated gloves, felt clumsy as she pulled out the emergency bear deterrent, a sonic pulse device. Click. She activated it once. A high-pitched pulse vibrated the air. The mother bear paused, then growled. Not backing down. Okay, Jenna muttered. That's not working. She powered it off and slowly lowered herself into a crouch, making herself small, non-threatening. Not prey, not predator. The cub whimpered again. Its paw twitched, struggling against the cold metal. Jenna looked at the mother. You want me to help her, don't you? No movement, just wind and snow and breath. She reached into her pack and pulled out her trauma shears. Thick, curved blades, built to cut through anything. Inching forward, eyes flicking between the cub and the mother, she reached the trap. Up close, the cub was trembling violently. Its fur was matted with blood and frost. Its dark eyes locked on Jenna's, wild with pain, but not fear. She whispered, It's okay. I got you. Her hands moved with practiced speed. She cut the trap's binding rope first. Nothing. Then she wedged the shears into the hinge, using her body weight to pry it open. Click. Snap. The jaws sprung open with a jolt. The cub yelped, jerking free. Its paw was mangled but not broken. Jenna wrapped it quickly in a thermal bandage, tucking the leg into a heated blanket from her pack. She didn't realize she was holding her breath until she looked up and saw the mother bear now just 6 feet away. They locked eyes. Jenna's heart thundered in her ears. If the bear attacked now, there was nothing she could do. But the mother didn't. Instead, she stepped around Jenna, lowered her head to her cub, and sniffed. Her breath hit the bandage. She grunted softly, inspecting the leg, then nudged her baby gently with her snout. Still kneeling, Jenna whispered, She's okay. I think you know that. The bear looked at her again. Something ancient in that stare. Intelligent, tired. Then a sound. Faint, high-pitched, muffled. Another cry. Jenna turned. Not from the injured cub. It was coming from somewhere else. Faint, repetitive. Her pulse jumped. She stood slowly, scanning the snowdrifts. The wind dipped just for a second, and she heard it again. More cubs. She turned to the mother. Jenna pivoted toward the sound, squinting through the snow. Just beyond a drift, the ground had collapsed inward. An opening, barely visible, an ice cave. The cries were clearer now. 2 more cubs trapped inside. Jenna ran to the edge, dropped to her knees and peered in. A narrow tunnel twisted down, half collapsed. Snow had sealed the lower half like a tomb. The cubs were inside, moving but weak, struggling for breath in the thinning air. She turned to the mother bear. The giant was pacing now, distressed, torn between the injured cub and the cries from the cave. She can't reach them, Jenna muttered. She tried and failed. Jenna yanked open her sled and grabbed a collapsible tunnel tube, designed for low-clearance rescues. No time to wait for Malik, no backup, just her, the blizzard, and a pocket of air that was shrinking fast. Strapping on her oxygen mask, she muttered, All right, Clark, you've got 10 minutes of air, 2 cubs, 1 shot. She slid into the freezing black. Above her, the storm roared louder, and somewhere the ice started to crack. Inside the ice tunnel, Jenna could barely move. The space narrowed fast, just wide enough for her shoulders. The cold was suffocating. Her oxygen mask hissed softly in her ears, counting down her minutes. She shined her headlamp ahead. There they were, 2 tiny cubs, huddled against each other in the far corner of the ice pocket. Their fur was covered in frost, bodies shaking from the cold. One gave a weak cry, barely audible. Jenna's heart clenched. She pulled herself forward, inch by inch. The tunnel groaned above her. Cracks spidered along the ceiling of ice. Pressure shifting. If it gave way now, shrieked the cubs. One was responsive. The other barely moved. No, no, come on, she whispered, her gloved hands scooping them into her chest pack. She checked their eyes, still breathing. Suddenly, crack. A thunderous snap echoed behind her. The tunnel caved in. Snow slammed down over the entrance, blocking the way out. Her headlamp flickered. The air turned still, too still. She hit her radio. Malik, Malik, come in. I'm trapped with the cubs. I need... Static. Nothing. Her oxygen meter blinked. 7 minutes. She shifted, trying to dig back toward the exit. But the snow was hard-packed, ice-fused. She couldn't dig with her hands alone. Then outside, another sound. A muffled growl. Claws tearing at the snow. Not from her. from the mother bear. The ice above her vibrated as the bear clawed at the collapsed entrance, desperately trying to reach her cubs, but every strike sent tremors through the structure. She was going to bring the whole tunnel down. "Stop," Jenna whispered. "Please don't break it all. Please." And just as panic rose in her chest, another sound cut through the wind. A shout. "Jenna!" It was Malik. He was close. She pounded on the tunnel roof. "Down here, I've got them. I've got both." Above, tools hit the snow. A shovel, ice axes, controlled cuts, digging fast but careful. Then light, blinding, beautiful light, pierced the tunnel. A glove reached in. Jenna shoved the cubs upward first, one by one, Malik catching them with gentle hands. Then she crawled, pulling with every ounce of strength, gasping as the oxygen gave out. He grabbed her wrists and yanked her through the opening seconds before the ceiling behind her collapsed in a heavy crash. She lay on her back, panting, snowflakes landing on her face. Cubs were curled beside her, safe. The mother bear stood just a few feet away, massive, silent, watching. Malik whispered, "Charges." "She won't." Jenna sat up slowly. The mother bear lumbered forward. She nosed each of the cubs, inspecting them, licking the injured one's bandage. Then she looked up at Jenna, and for a moment, just a breath in the freezing air, it felt like a thank you. A sound, the bear turned, nudged her cubs forward, and disappeared into the white. Jenna and Malik sat in the stunned silence. "She let you take them," Malik said, eyes wide. "She knew." Jenna didn't speak. She just watched the fog swallow the polar bear family whole, her hands still shaking from the cold, and from something else she couldn't name. Snow drifted gently now. The storm was fading. Jenna sat on the sled, wrapped in a thermal blanket, still trembling. Malik stood beside her, silent, watching the polar bear family disappear into the white. The smallest cub limped slightly, but it walked. Alive. Jenna stared after them, eyes glassy. "They should have died out here," she whispered. "All of them." Malik nodded. "But they didn't, because you didn't walk away." They heard the distant thump of a rescue chopper. Wildlife Services finally arriving, too late to do anything but stare in disbelief at what had happened. The medic rushed to the unconscious photographer inside the truck. He was stable. He would make it. One of the wildlife officers approached Jenna. "I watched your body cam footage. That bear should have attacked, but she didn't. You earned her trust." Jenna didn't answer. She just looked down at her gloves, still stained with blood and ice. In her coat pocket, she felt something soft. She pulled it out. The bandage she used on the cup. Tiny paw prints pressed into the fabric. A quiet smile broke across her face. The first in hours. 2 days later, the cold still lingered, but the storm had passed. Back at the Churchill police station, Jenna sat alone at her desk, replaying the footage from her body cam. The growl of the mother bear, the shriek of the trap, the cubs, the moment the cave collapsed, the look the bear gave her at the end. She'd watched it a dozen times. Malik entered, holding 2 mugs of coffee. He placed one by her hand without a word and dropped into the chair across from her. "Wildlife Services is calling it a miracle," he said. "Said that mother bear displayed behavior they've never seen before." Jenna took a sip. "It wasn't a miracle. It was desperation. An instinct. Mine and hers." He grinned. "Still, not every day a polar bear lets you walk out of an ice tunnel with her kids and doesn't eat your face." She chuckled softly. Then Sergeant Kowalski walked in, holding a tablet. "You're trending," he said, tossing the device on the desk. On screen. "Police officer saves polar bear family in deadly storm. Footage goes viral. Over 8 million views. News anchors, wildlife experts, climate activists, schools using the footage in classrooms, donations pouring in to fund anti-trap enforcement in the north." "You didn't just save a family," Kowalski said. "You may have started something bigger." Jenna looked at the screen. A still image, her kneeling beside the cub, with the mother bear watching. She smiled. "I didn't do it for that," she said. "I did it because no one else could." Outside the station, fresh snow began to fall. Quiet, soft, unthreatening. And far off, beyond the bluffs, a mother bear and her 3 cubs moved slowly across the ice, heading north, together, alive, because someone chose to go into the storm.